We're here today with tarot therapist Michelle Nolan to get an update on the energy for June 2025. What can we expect and how can we best use this energy? Let's find out. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Karen. Nice to see you.
Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do each month. I feel
Me
like
too.
very much like Stevie's astrology. This is like the weather forecast for the month ahead. I know when to put on my rain boots and bring my umbrella or just brace myself for the monsoon to come.
We'll see. We'll see. It's Gemini energy. So a lot of scattered energy, a lot of fast thinking, a lot of fast processing and thoughts and ideas. And it's upbeat.
I'm excited to hear that because May was something. April was really rugged.
Hmm.
May, I think, was less, but in terms of the planet energy and just really grounding into the spring and the Taurus kind of energy, I really felt it. And I remember you talking about the Two of Swords being a crossroads moment. And I felt like so many of them came my way and really forced me to think about where am I really now? Do I want to pivot and change path, or do I really want to stick with where I am? So there's so much of that really came true for me. How about you?
Yeah, I felt like May was a very heavy, deep, intense month, emotionally speaking, and also just it had a almost like a darkness to it that sometimes we need. A lot of triggering was happening towards like where we are at now, towards the end of May. It was not like
No, not at all. And so everybody who's listening is thinking back to the month of May and where maybe those really tough moments came at you. Take note of what that was trying to teach you. There's a lot.
yeah,
All right, let's talk about June.
yes,
Gemini.
June, Gemini energy. Should we just dive in?
Let's dive in.
All right. I like to say my channeling opening for the collective. Spirit, please give me clear and concise messages for what is you want to speak with the Seeking Center collective about today. And please allow everyone to have an open heart and open mind to hear these messages and to feel these messages. And as always, we thank you for your guidance and your protection and your connection today. So let's see what's happening. We're looking at coming into June, the very beginning of June, and see where we are headed. Okay, so right away, getting the Eight of Cups energy. So if we
Okay.
think about how we came off of that May, deep emotions, deep fear-based stuff, the baggage, if we want to look at that like emotional baggage or
Yep.
fears or patterns or things that we needed to really shift in a very deep place. This Eight of Cups energy is the purge. So starting off right in June is almost like saying, okay, if we followed that trajectory, aligned with that devil energy and kind of facing our devil, our fears, we have an opportunity right now coming into June to kind of let that stuff go. That's what the Eight of Cups is. We're releasing and a purge. And what happens usually with that is a general lightness comes afterwards, right? Because we're
Yep.
letting something go, we're letting something heavy go. So think about in your life that could be very conscious or that could be unconscious. So it could be we're just feeling like we've swept something away and now we're ready to kind of restart. It really is a purge. Think of it like that. Like we need to do that once in a while. We're wanting to let stuff go so we can have new experiences, have new ways of being, concentrating on new patterns of behavior and what we want our future to look like. So we need to have the room for it. So I love that we're starting there. It's a very much of a walking away type of energy.
And I remember at the beginning of your reading from May, you had the Ace of Cups, which was also about emotion. So it feels like we're being very transitionary now, healing in the emotion, all those wounds that we're carrying around with us. I love this idea of, okay, saw that. Now just let's release all that so we can get.
Release it. So opportunity very much at the beginning of June, because with that Eight of Cups, I'm getting this
Ooh,
star energy
ooh,
and the Page of Swords, which tells me not only is this like a very healing energy, okay, but what it really is, I think, given us at the start of June is an opportunity to change our perspective and thinking, to think positively instead of honing in on some of the negatives, and then reset your brain more than anything else. Because when I get this kind of Page of Swords energy, it's a new way of thinking. And the star energy is about, I'm going to think long term now. Okay. I want to think big picture in this abstract way of, now that I've let something go, maybe walked away from something. It could be, I think I talked about even May, like I wasn't surprised if people were walking away from jobs, relationships, marriages, homes, people, all of that stuff. So if we're talking about the emotion of that, we're shifting our gear now and saying, okay, instead of focusing on the purge and what I'm walking away from and maybe the heaviness, now I'm going to think about what's ahead. The star energy is looking forward. Now it's way down the line. When I get star energy, it's a peacefulness to it. There's a peacefulness to thinking, okay, now I can dream a little bit about what the next big phase is going to look like and build towards that. It might be a little abstract because the star energy is, because it's a long-term thinking goal. So next to that, I get this High Priestess and then this Two of Swords. And to that energy, look what we're getting again right away, the Eight of Cups. So it's already a repetitive card for me. Okay. And we know that I've spoken about that. When I get repetitive cards in my readings, those are very loud, highlighted energies of what's really important here. So the High Priestess and the Two of Swords energy is telling me that the space that we are entering in June is still a bit of that crossroads, because there could still be a little bit of this block that we're working through, that we want to make sure that we're still staying positive. Because when we go to a deep space coming from May, which was, we talked about the full moon in Scorpio, which is really transformative, really deep, we can stay there. We can actually be like, all right, this feels comfortable. I'm going to wallow for a while. I'm going to get taken down into the depths of whether it's bad thinking or negative thinking or despair or anything like that. But instead, they're trying to shift us out of to say, okay, understand that this is a spiritual place with the High Priestess of listening, intuitively listening to what you're letting go of, and understanding that when you're focusing on the future and the star card, you're really just having faith. This is really just having faith and surrendering to what that High Priestess energy is, which is, I'm going to believe that where I'm headed is much better. I'm going to believe it. And I know we've been talking about this for the last couple months about belief and faith. But if you remember in my large 2025 forecast, this second quarter was all about positive mindset and thinking and optimism and feeling the feelings of the future being good. And I know that seems very simple, but it's showing up again, right? We're still in the second quarter. It's showing up about the whole point of having faith that the future is where you want to be and where we're headed, and it's going to be a good place.
Yeah, we had the High Priestess card last month as well.
Yeah, so it's still aligning with that,
So
because we're the beginning of June, right?
It's calling you forward, I feel like.
It's calling you forward, and it's understanding that purge, why that Eight of Cups is such, why it's here twice. It's the call to let go. It's the call to continue to purge, to continue to let go so you can lighten. We're always trying to elevate our energy. We're always trying to elevate our frequency. And we can't be in heaviness and elevate our frequency. We need to go there for a time period, release, and then move through it. So I think that's the main point of this, is giving yourself a little grace. That heaviness does take time to purge. Because if I think about it, if we're having big transformative moments, like leaving a marriage, let's say, or leaving a job or making a move, there's always going to be a little hesitation afterwards. Is this the right choice? But when we sit there and think and feel that intuitively it feels right, even if we don't have the full explanation and we still have doubts, that's the call here to listen to that intuition still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really thinking those words as you were talking about. Listen to the call. That's the star.
It's because the High Priestess wants more than anything, not just the space of listening to your intuition, but the High Priestess wants us to be healed in whatever capacity that is for. Like, her whole vibe is peace. So if we want to be in peace with our decisions, in our environment, with our life, right? When we think of what we're doing in our life, we want it to feel peaceful and right and aligned. That's really her goal. Okay.
All right, what's next?
So coming after that is the Six of Pentacles energy with this Two of Pentacles. Think of the beginning of June is that emotional heaviness is lifted. But then as we start to get into this hesitation, we start just to get, oh my gosh, did I
Yeah.
really have left that job? I don't know. I don't know if that was the right move for me. What's next? I don't know. I can't see the future. That's when things get real. Okay. So we went from this kind of emotional space, abstract space, more in our mind and how we are intuitively listening to ourselves, to Pentacles energy, which is the balancing out in the 3D, because Pentacles is all about the 3D, is the balance now of, I got to make this solid. I got to make this decision feel real to me in my external space. It's not saying how we're doing it, because I see the juggle of the back and forth of the choice. Like we're still waffling. And now let me bring this back to Gemini energy, because that's the month we're in. That's the overarching energy that's happening in June. Gemini loves information. Gemini loves facts, wants all the details, wants to process. They're very good at communication, and it's air energy. So it's a lot of thinking. So if we think of that hamster wheel that Gemini can get into, about run through all of the variables that might be coming up with what I left and now where I'm going. And I'm going to run through it in my brain and make sense of it. It's allowing for that space to happen, because when we're aligning with their energy, we want to use what's available to us. And what's available to us is clear thinking right now. It can be scattered if we're in this low vibrational energy and like we get into overthinking, or we get into, like I said, the hamster wheel of going back and forth and not making a decision. But if we're aligning with the highest vibration of the Gemini energy, it's allowing us to be really clear-headed and be like, I made this choice. And so now I need to logically decide what's the next step to ground this decision. Okay. So I'm feeling the very beginning here of June is just a lot of back and forth. There's this heaviness. It's okay to assess, reassess, because there's a balance that needs to happen with that energy. There's a balance that needs to ground itself so it can be real. So that's the first part of June.
Okay.
All right. So going into, we'll say the heart at the middle of June. All right. And where we're moving towards. I already feel like it's starting to get more grounded, which is good. Okay. We have the sun card, which I don't know, Karen, the sun always reminds me of you.
Oh, thank you.
You really embody the energy. I love this because, like I said, Scorpio, full moon of Scorpio is, and I love Scorpio, so this isn't nothing against a Scorpio, but that's the darkness, right? Because Scorpio is about depth and the shadow side of life. So when we come out of that and we're actually buoyantly coming up from those depths, there's nothing else we want more than to feel that sunshine, to come out of those depths and to be released and to feel hope and to feel optimism and to feel lighter and to feel confident and to feel happy. So that whole yin and yang of that energy that we came from, that's why the alignment is right, because you don't want to stay there. You want to pop out of that water and be like, oh, this feels good now. I'm up at the surface. So I feel that sun energy after that balancing act happening. The sun energy is saying, okay, things are to the surface now. So think of everything that comes to the surface after we've gone through an emotional experience. We feel a little more confident because the sun energy is saying, okay, things are conscious now. Are conscious in our world for us to deal with something on a 3D level. So now we can make choices, real choices, not just processing. Now we can actually feel authentic because we really did take the time to face some of those fears and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, no, I want better. I want more for myself. I want to change. I want to grow. So this is a very confident, optimistic energy for me. It doesn't get much better than the sun card. But I love the authenticity that I'm feeling with that too, because I don't always get that. It's feeling to me that why meeting that devil energy at the end of May was important and not skirting it away. If people don't want to deal with that devil energy and I can't deal with that right now and I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. There's no wrong path. But for those that did and say, you know what, I'm going to look at this hard stuff and I'm going to change it. This is now not just the lesson that's come out of it, but with the Hierophant to the sun, this is a level of fortitude and commitment to that feeling that I feel way more myself, and making these bold choices are right for me. So that authenticity is so potent. Okay. I love this kind of commitment. It feels like very committed to that lightness, that peace, that happiness, that fulfillment, and that authenticity. All of it combined.
It's such an affirmation too. If you've made a big decision and at the beginning of the month you're feeling a little bit unsure, into the month you're going to feel affirmed that you're heading in the direction. I love that. And I also want to say too, for people who, I know for me personally, there were some moments that it was almost like somebody put sugar on a cavity, like that they were just so profoundly painful, just some days. And if you felt that, I think for me, what I just made the decision to do is just, like you said, let it go. I see it, I know it, I understand it, but I don't need to feel that way anymore. It can be that simple in a way. Like it doesn't have to be all of this work that you're doing to release and all that. It's just the recognition of it and decision to let it go.
And the better we get at dealing with these releases and the purging and the depths and the dark stuff, and then coming up from that and knowing ourselves through that, the better we get at what you were just talking about, of seeing something right away in a faster way and saying, not for me. I'm not going to be in the drama of that or the chaos of that. And I'm just going to let it go and let it move through me or by me. So I love, this is a lovely transition of doing hard stuff and then getting the gift of what we want to feel back is like, I did the right thing and I'm committed to myself. So in the heart of the reading, as far as the heart of June, the main energy is kind of the center. We have this 7 of Wands, 2 of Wands. Okay, the 7, this is totally what I'm feeling. This is some strength right here. 7 of Wands is that conviction. This is like standing your ground, being like, no, I am moving this way now, because the 2 of Wands tells us now almost like that beginning of that choice that I think we're waffling around on, and making it and seeing kind of the path ahead. And it's, remember I said the star card at the beginning is like abstractly seeing the future and just on a hunch being like, I think this is the right way for me, the right path. Now we're actually starting to see the path. And like the conviction, because this is the 7 of Wands, is the bigger energy, the conviction of standing your ground and saying, absolutely fucking yes. Okay. That's how it feels to me. Like this is what I'm doing. This is the path I'm taking. This is the choice I made. I feel very good about it, confident about it. No one can sway me or influence me at this point, because this is what I choose. I'm choosing me.
Love it.
And then the 3 of Cups to this Ace of Swords. That is celebrating the decision, celebrating the choice, celebrating also the clarity of the truth. Because as I've said this before, the Ace of Swords is truth with a capital T. I like to look at the hard truths and the hard decisions also. But now the hard truth becomes more of, thank God I had this clarity and the realization and did the hard work to come to this decision, because it feels so on point for me now. And I'm so happy about it, celebrating that you can have that clarity. And again, because we're in Gemini energy, that's what Gemini is good at. If you use Gemini energy, it allows you to process the information and the decisions become clearer, because you are looking at the information almost in a bit of a logical way and not just an emotional way.
Wow. This is so empowering. I'm so
good.
excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say one thing about that 3 of Cups though, too. There is something there, because June's the end of the second quarter. I remember something that was in the 2025 forecast. I was saying after the 6-month period at the beginning of the year, we were starting to magnetize a new community. We had to go through our own shit. Yep. And then we're forging a new path to almost alchemize a new earth, it would seem like, or your new tribe, your new family, your new community. That's what this 3 of Cups energy is too. So there is a magnetism I'm feeling here of, now it's not just celebrating our own personal triumph and truth and decision and clarity. It's communing now with people that feel the same way, finding those people, really being and celebrating with people that see things in the same way and starting to alchemize that and be like, yeah, we have the same belief system. We have the same values. We have the same lifestyle, but more like in how we want to live our life, not
Yeah.
necessarily the
Like
same
mid.
lifestyle, like mindset, all of that. And it becomes this compass of the where we want to be. We want to be with those types of people.
Oh my gosh, I remember you talking about this at the beginning of the year. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it crazy how these cards just align? And like you really have to get to that place where you know who you are and what you're standing for to be able to get to that next phase, which is finding your people.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it. So new community, new
Wow.
friendships, new relationships. It's a lot about this transition here for authenticity is leading the way to find people similar. And I want to say I believe that differences amongst people make us a richer society. So it's not about just being with people that are the same as you. I don't think that's what it means. There's a belief system of almost like the value of not just spirituality, but the value of mindset and positivity and thinking confidently maybe about the future, not negatively about the future. It doesn't have to be so defined, but that viewpoint, I think, is really the viewpoint that people are trying to gather around because that's becoming a value.
It's an energetic alignment and a like-minded alignment even. Robin and I always talk about the idea of all the people in the Seeking Center community. It's like a big orchestra. Everybody's got a different instrument, but they're all contributing to this incredible harmony of the collective. And I feel like that's what this is leading us to.
Yeah, I love that. And this is also celebrating, like on a personal level, I think just celebrating your
Mm,
life a little bit, like celebrating the wins, the small wins, even
yeah.
these decisions that are your choices and yours alone, and celebrating your own way of getting to that decision and that path for yourself and allowing yourself to celebrate those moments. The other compass I'm getting within them, because this is the heart of the reading here, the other compass I'm getting about that is, and I find this a lot even in my personal readings with people, is sometimes I say I know very simple things, but they seem to elude people at times. And one of the feelings I'm feeling here is that a commitment to happiness, the goal of being happy, is sometimes enough.
I think we forget about that too. We're so goal oriented to accomplish things that we forget. And that's something I'm really trying to be mindful of. Even when we first came on today, of saying, I am blessed. And I'm going to lean into really acknowledging that those happy moments and savoring those as much as possible and the accomplishments that I have made versus always thinking, I've got to get further, do more. Just being in that sunlight, being in the happy
Mhm.
is really important too.
That high priestess, I think, here with that is, I think she's trying to remind us part of our intuition that has to do with feeling happy is actually an intuitive compass to go in that direction.
Yes.
And we negate that a lot, particularly in our society, goal based, achievement based, success based. We negate that intuitive compass of, does this make me happy? And is that enough to say? And the
Mm.
answer, I think, in this truth of that is saying, yes, I actually want to follow the path of happy. And that might piss some people off, but it's what makes me happy.
Such a good reminder.
I think people devalue that because they think that's not enough of a reason to do something.
Exactly.
So the end of June, and we're actually end of, like we said, of the second quarter. Okay, this is not what I was expecting.
Oh, I always love watching your face when you talk
Yeah.
about cards.
Like, whoa. So I want to say this, that truth with a capital T, even though it is like bold and it felt really happy to me, it doesn't come without its consequences because hard truths come with consequences. So here's the last part of June. We get the Five of Swords and the Four of Swords. Okay. So the first thing I'm feeling about this, that Five of Swords is that very like the failures. Let's say you've gotten a divorce and the idea of, oh, my marriage failed, or I left a job and we didn't close out that part of my career in the way I wanted to. I didn't get to the level I wanted to be at, or maybe my boss and I had a rough ending. This would be that Five of Swords energy. Okay. Like the idea that what it was wasn't what actually really happened. So the feeling there I'm getting to that with that Four of Swords, why those kind of came out together, is that's the part, these are the little scars, little wounds that we've decided to heal up. We don't want that little sabotaging energy and to look backwards anymore of that was a failure. That was a mistake. I regret that. I should have done that better. Instead, what we're looking at this now with the hangman there is
Oh, wow.
saying, that was just a lesson. That's all it was. I don't need to hold on to things that I should have done better or could have done better or hoped for better and bury that in my being, in my energetic soul as a frequency of a mistake. Because the high priestess knows this, the hangman knows this, spiritual energy knows this. There are no regrets, no mistakes. There are just lessons, and we just live those lessons. We can still be happy, confident, even if we've made mistakes. So the hangman is forcing us to don't harbor the failures. We're not looking backwards at all the things we could have done better. We're saying that was a great lesson, and I'm glad I learned it. That was a really hard marriage, let's say, but I'm absolutely glad I was in it, even if we got divorced, because I'm very thankful and grateful for that experience.
I think it's what you're talking about is such a natural part of the evolution of anything, right? It's like you make the decision, good for me. I came out of that. I did the right thing. But then there's always those moments, those reminders, those memories come back and cause you to rethink things. So I think it's just part of the path.
Yes, it is. But I think this piece, though, is the higher level learning that some people I don't think truly get to. They hold on to how someone has hurt them,
Yeah.
or like I said, the failure, even if they don't classify it as failure, but they hold on to that. Those were mistakes, those
Yeah.
were regrets. And if we look at that over our lifetime, we could have a lot of mistakes and a lot of regrets. And if we keep building that, and that's why I think that Eight of Cups was here in the beginning, that we're supposed to move through those faster. No, I'm not going to take that on and put that in my backpack and carry it with me into this next phase. I'm just going to let it go and be like, what a beautiful lesson to learn. Okay. So with that, this is what I said, because we got the tower.
Oh, good.
Okay. The tower to this Queen of Pentacles energy. So I am feeling here, if we're bringing this to like the real world situation, how this could be, is once we were in that kind of fortitude in the middle of the month of being like, I know what I believe, I know what my decision is, and this is what I'm doing. There seems to be, with that Five of Swords there, at the end of the month, it's like, we don't want to hurt people, let's say, with these decisions we might be making. We don't want to leave anything left unsaid, not closed, or unhealed. Okay. We want to make sure that we're always moving through our life gracefully with other people, even if we are making decisions that are our own personal convictions for ourselves. But we're also trying to always do it in the most healing way possible. Always. So I think there could be this kind of stickiness here where even though the conviction is strong, some of these decisions we're making might not be the best for others, but we're still not going to say, I'm not moving ahead. Because that tower to that Queen of Pentacles tells me now that this is exactly what the High Priestess stepped in the beginning of this month for. This is called growth. That's what growth is. Let go of something, learn the lesson, give gratitude for it, but yet also stay confident and optimistic and convicted in your belief. And although it's hard to make that choice, to leave a marriage, to leave a job, to leave an environment, to maybe move in a different direction that others want you to move in, that's called growth for yourself. I do feel like with the tower there, though, I do think the tower, this is a massive change. This is a massive up leveling. I do remember in 2025 forecast that there were these major milestones. That was the biggest, almost the vibe I got throughout the
Yep.
whole 25, these huge milestones, big endings, big shifts in thinking, and then moving in like a very black and white direction. I'm going this way, other people are going that way. And so what I'm feeling here, why this feels like a tower moment, is this is a very strong indication of we are taking a hard left from a lot of other people. This is the direction I'm headed. This is where I'm going. And I am going to just focus on my personal growth, because what I want to foster and nurture in the future is more to do with this star card energy that I was thinking about in the beginning of this reading, which is about this abstract idea of what things could be. I almost want to nurture that. So this feels there's like a hiccup here at the end of June.
Although you could also look at it as you've gone through this huge experience between May and into June. You're reckoning what it is. You're feeling into that. You're feeling proud of yourself that you did that. But it's only natural in a way to have those moments where you're feeling like, oh shit, is this really where I'm supposed to be? I think you wouldn't be a human being if you weren't kind of rethinking at times, no matter how good you felt. And I love that the cards indicate that. Literally at the end of June, at the end of the first half of the year, there's going to be that recognition of, oh my gosh, I actually have learned a lot and I have come through a lot.
Yeah, there's a maturity here that I'm feeling. Like it's almost like saying to somebody, if they're having a hard time with your decision and you're saying, I know this is hard for you. I know this is hard for you that I'm leaving or I'm changing or I'm deciding something against what you want for me, but it's going to be okay. You become almost the nurturer, being like, everything's going to be fine. This is the best for everybody. This is the best for all of us. So it's a very mature type of, because when I get the Queen of Pentacles, she's a mature energy. She knows where her boundaries are. Let's put that into play too. And she's also just trusting this slow, nurturing growth of where she's headed. I do think there could be even like one kind of hiccup moment or bumpy moment with somebody or a situation, and you are forced to stand your ground pretty hard and say, no, this is what I want. And this is where I'm going because this is what is best for me. And that's the boundary I'm putting up again. Like I'm going to say that again. So with that very ending, now I see this Eight of Pentacles, which is the Queen of Pentacles with love. This is the hard work now. This is the effort. This is the growth now. And like I said, is going from this kind of air emotional energy to grounding things, right? Remember I said like the whole point of it is grounding the decision. When we make a choice, it always starts in our brain and at first in our feelings, then in our brain, and then in our action and in the external consequence, and also decision has some kind of tangible action to it. This has become like we're grounding that now after that maybe hard decision. Oh, I love this. And two, this is where we're getting the Three of Cups again. Okay. Wow. So this is that now what we're working on is nurturing that feeling of community, that feeling of coming together with people. I feel like this is such an interesting reading because it feels, if I was to look at this as a big capsule, I feel like unconsciously individuals have been going through a pretty rough, in the last 6 months, a rough overhaul of who they are. And it's forcing us to really examine at an unconscious level who we want to be in our future and what does that look like. And it's a very individual placement. And then once we decide that, once that internal compass gets shifted in that direction that it's supposed to get shifted to, and we make that decision, then it's our frequency is a different frequency. And then all the people that have been doing this individually themselves in their own ways, all of a sudden have that same frequency, and then they all start magnetizing together.
They find their people. Yeah. And that's exactly what you said that would happen going into the third quarter of 2025. So Michelle, this has been incredible. I love the whole journey. I think it feels like a little bit of a roller coaster, but it feels so promising. Like you said at the very beginning, it's like follow that North Star, go the distance. Everything's going to be okay. Feel the feels. But at the end of it, you're going to be really a different person. You'll have your moments of second guessing, but that will make you stronger ultimately in the long run. I can take that message.
Yeah, I love that because I just feel like what's happening here, this is the first time I've felt this shift since the beginning of the year. Okay, because everything felt very internal up until now. It's the first time I've felt that. I think community is becoming so much more important So much more important. We've given it a different value before. And I think now it's more about a deeper connection with others that we realize is a necessity.
And as we're expanding our Seeking Center community, it just
Mhm.
feels like we're all on the same journey together. And I love the fact that this frequency, this idea of us finding our people is in front of us, because that's literally what we're trying to create, is that community of people who are looking for the light, who are looking for their people.
That's how I'm feeling about June. So it is a little
Love
roller
it.
coaster, but that's Gemini.
Thank you for this. I know it's going to really be a good guide for a lot of us as we move forward. It feels very positive.
It is positive. I love it. Thanks, Karen.